Hello everyone, my name is Ezra. Welcome back to the second live stream of the Previews catalogue. For those of you that don't know, Previews is a monthly catalogue. It's available in most good comic book stores, and this catalogue is essentially a catalogue which houses comics, manga, merchandise, a huge amount of different things, and it's a catalogue that basically showcases all of the best things coming up in, say, the comic, manga, merchandise world that we'll be highlighting in the next 2 months. So I'm going to show you what this catalogue looks like right now, and do bear with me, this is the second time I've done the stream, so I'll be switching between cameras to make it a bit more interactive for you guys. I'll show you the catalogue and then I'll explain how this live stream will work. Okay, so let's just switch over to my other camera now. Hopefully you guys can see this. Now this is the Previews catalogue here, this very colourful thing. As I said, this catalogue is for, well, I actually bought this for the August catalogue, so it's come out a little bit early at the end of the month, but it is actually showcasing for October 2015. So these are all the main things that are coming out in October. Yeah, it's such a great way to stay up to date with what's happening in the industry and what's coming out. And to be honest, I've found so many great comics that you can read without even knowing that they would be coming out, or other things that are collected versions. It's just a great way of finding new content, really. Okay, now if you are watching on YouTube and you are on the channel or you are on the YouTube page, what I would recommend for you to do, in the bottom left hand corner of the video there will be a little section which says be a part of the conversation. So if you click on that down there, that will take you over to the Google Live Hangouts page, and it's a lot more interactive here, so you can ask questions in a Q&A style, and I can highlight those so you guys can clearly see which questions I'm answering. So I recommend you do that now. When you come over to the Google Live Hangouts page, there'll be a little tile set in the top right hand corner of the video. If you click on that, there'll be a little Q&A button, and if you click on that again, that's where you can pose your questions to me, and then I can highlight them and answer them. As I will be talking, sometimes I get a little bit carried away, so I'll do my best to answer your questions and highlight them. If I get loads, I'll see what I can answer. If not, then hopefully I can answer all of your questions. So it's a win-win either way. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. Let's get started. Last month I thought went pretty well in terms of showcasing all the best things that Previews had to offer. So what we're going to do firstly, let's switch back over to my other camera now, highlighting Previews, and let's start off with the very first thing that I want to mention, which I've got handily bookmarked here, which is Evalkyrie. Now, if you know nothing about Evalkyrie, it's a massively multiplayer PC game set in space where you control spaceships. It has a real-life economy. It's basically set in a whole universe. Really engaging game, so much going on, I'm not kidding. If you jump into it to begin with, it's really hard to actually know what the hell is going on. But needless to say, they've actually brought out a comic, which is really interesting because the universe is so rich in story and they keep on bringing out new additional content year on year. So I thought it's a pretty cool idea to bring this comic out. So let's switch back over to our camera. Here we go. So if I read this out to you, so it says, superstar writer Brian Wood tells the origin of Ran, founder of Valkyrie, the deadliest space fighter pilot in the EVE universe. This series leads into Evalkyrie, one of the most highly anticipated video games of all time, a groundbreaking virtual reality space dogfighting shooter from the creators of EVE Online. This is their gem of the month, and this is by Dark Horse Comics. I will go through all the Dark Horse Comics first and then go through all the various different publishers, but we're going to start here. Now, I'm going to try and showcase some of the art to you here, just so you guys can get maybe a feel of what the art may be, and if it's something that will actually interest you guys, because that's what this content is here for you to do. So really highlight these things for you, and if you wouldn't see them anywhere else, see if this is something that you guys would like to take on board and something you might like to read. Now, I'm a massive sucker for sci-fi. I usually tend to pick up as much sci-fi as I can. It's one of my favourite genres, so Evalkyrie is most likely something that will be coming on to my selection, I'd say, just to give it a try, but again, quite a big title, so they've got lots of story to explore, so I thought I would mention that one firstly. What I'm also going to do, guys, is quickly hop over to share my screen with you and share some of the stuff that we already have lined up. So let's just hop straight on over to here. Hopefully you can see this page as well. Let me know if you can't. and I will make sure that you can. Now, what I'm going to do is just try and figure out which page is going to be best for you to actually view. Now, here we go. This is what I was trying to show you. So this is a bit more information on the Dark Horse website. So if you wanted to hop over and actually have a look at Evalkyrie, I really recommend you go and check it out. They've got a bit more information there, which is kind of interesting as well. So yeah, go and check that out. So swiftly moving along, we've got the next comic, which I'll show you here, which is called Planety. I think that's how you pronounce it. Is it Planetes? So this is Omnibus Volume 1. Now this is a really interesting comic. Something that I've had on my radar before, but they are bringing out an omnibus edition now, which I thought would be great to showcase you guys. And it's a really interesting concept. Yeah, and I'll explain why. Because it's not something really that I ever thought I would really enjoy when you hear the concept. So, in the 2070s, increased interplanetary travel has led to crisis amounts of dangerous space debris, and someone has to clean it up. Planetes follows the space garbage crew of an aspiring explorer, Hachimaki, Morning Yuri, and Secretive Fee, collected in 2 omnibus editions, printed from the original files and complete with bonus colour pages. I just think as a manga, to have such a kind of mundane content for a manga is kind of interesting. There's got to be something there that's making it really interesting, and it is something that had quite a few volumes out as well. Now let's showcase you some of the art. I think I have some of the art already loaded up for you here. So let's skip on over here. It has quite a kind of bleak. Whenever I see any of the characters, they always look very depressed. It is kind of quite a bleak existence if you think about it, being one of these cleanup crew in space. Space is huge. You're just floating around picking up other people's rubbish. I think it's quite an interesting idea, to be honest. Here's one of the covers here. It's pretty old from what I remember. If I skip on over to some of the other images, okay, these ones won't necessarily work, but some of the other images do that I've seen, and they're really interesting, and it has quite a stark resemblance to another manga that I've been reading. I'm up to volume 3 of this, as this is Vinland Saga, which I'll show you now if we can switch back over to this. So Vinland Saga's here, and I think in terms of the art style, in terms of the faces of the people, actually there's quite a really strong resemblance to some of the art style, and that's something that really caught my eye. So if you've read Vinland Saga, I would probably say it may be along the same ilk as Vinland Saga in its art style, and some of the personalities that really come out in Vinland Saga are really colourful and are really meaningful. Just the way that they've actually drawn the faces, and in some of the action scenes as well, I think they really do convey the characters' personalities really, really well. So I think from the pictures that I've seen of Planetes so far, hopefully it's going to be something which is along the same kind of ilk. I will definitely be picking it up very, very shortly. I hope you guys do too. Let me know if you've got any questions about it, or if you've actually read it before. Please pop them in the questions box on the Q&A section over on the Be Part of the Conversation section of this live stream. Really like to get your guys' feedback on it, so yeah, let me know. Okay, moving swiftly on to the next highlighted issue, and this is now for Image Comics. So moving swiftly on, there are only 2 things that I wanted to highlight from Dark Horse this week. Now, the first one of Image Comics is, he says with the drum roll. Now, this is called I Hate Fairyland. This may be a bit OTT. It's not going to be something that I would be picking up personally, but I thought I would highlight it as it was smeared all across the front of previews. So I really think they are pushing it. It seems to be something interesting. If you're maybe into more of the comedy gore, maybe this might be for you. So if I read you out some of the description over here, and I'll hold it up so you can get a better of a look at the cover as well. So, superstar Scotty Young, Rocket Raccoon and Wizard of Oz, makes his Image debut with an all-new series, the Adventure Time Alice in Wonderland-style epic that smashes its cute little face against Tank Girl / Deadpool-esque violent madness has arrived. In an adventure that ain't for In an adventure that ain't for little kiddies, unless you have a super cool parent, then whatever. You'll meet Gert, a 6-year-old girl who has been stuck in the magical world of Fairyland for 30 years and will hack and slash her way through anything to find her way back home. Join Gert and a giant battle axe on a delightfully blood-soaked journey to see who will survive, the girl who hates Fairyland. So you can see there's got actually quite a good section in previews here, which actually goes through quite a few different panels here. I think it's maybe, yeah, so it's these few pages here. Now I will hold this up for you so you can get a better look of this. Again, it's kind of interesting. It's definitely going along the more comedy route, I would say. So let me just pop this one up for you. I'll be one moment. Okay, here we go. So here you can see the moon. She's kind of conversing with the moon, and for whatever reason, she doesn't really seem to be too happy with him. Not really sure why. I'm not going to delve into it too much because I hate ruining storylines for you guys. But you see here, she gets a bit peeved with a massive cannonball on a ship, and she ends up blowing the poor moon's head off. So you kind of get a little bit of a general gist of what I Hate Fairyland is about. If you like those over-the-top comedy-ish twists and things like that, especially in a fairyland setting, I think that may be really for you. Maybe along the lines of maybe if you like God Hate Astronauts, but maybe prefer a fairy tale kind of setting, that's where I think this comic is going. So maybe you guys might enjoy that. So go and check that out. Yeah, I don't know if many of you guys have heard about this yet. It's only something that I've heard about since picking up previews, but it's an interesting idea, but it won't be one that I'd necessarily be picking up. Okay, moving swiftly on. We've got another comic which I'm actually going to mention now, which is something that has been out for a while, and Volume 1, so the trade, will be coming out in October. And this is called Southern Cross. Now, I'm going to show you, or share screen with you, actually, to show you some of Southern Cross. Now, I did see this in stores. So this is Southern Cross here. It was something that I automatically kind of put down, to be honest, which is a bit bad. I know. Now, this is a kind of sci-fi comic, and it sets it straight away in the future with quite an in-depth universe by what it sounds. So I'm just going to read you some of the blurb we've got here. So, now boarding Southern Cross tanker flight 73 to Titan. Alex Braith is on board, retracing her sister's steps to the refinery moon, hoping to collect her remains and find some answers. The questions keep coming, though. How did her sister die? Where did her cabin mate disappear to? Who is that creep across the hall? And why does she always feel like she's being watched? Inspired by classic mysteries and weird fiction, Southern Cross is a crucible of creeping anxiety and fear as Braith struggles with the ghost of her past on board a ship that holds secrets best kept buried. Now, from that blurb, it's actually quite hard to kind of get a real grasp of what the comic is about, hugely. We know it's set in space, so she's trying to find out some secrets to why a family member died. We know nothing else apart from that. But what I thought was quite interesting here, you can see it says that Becky Cloonan is an artist on the comic, and she had a run on Gotham Academy, which, again, sounds like quite a big artist. If you know some of her work, then I would definitely say let me know what some of her other work has been. If you've liked it before, those kind of questions are quite interesting, because I always like to kind of know what these artists and writers have done previously. But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. You can see I've got a review on here about it saying it's quite difficult because it starts off in a totally brand new world, no references to anything. So trying to create a diverse sci-fi universe, I feel, is quite hard. But again, I will probably pick up the trade of this. I thought it was quite interesting in itself. So again, that trade comes out in October. So please let me know if it's something you guys are going to be picking up. Again, like I said, I'm a sucker for sci-fi, so I will probably most likely definitely be picking this up. Now, next we have something really exciting which I've been waiting for so long. I'm not kidding, so long. So I'm going to quickly share my screen with you again, and I will show you this little number here, which is very small, which I'm surprised about. I thought this would have a big old spread. The Walking Dead Compendium 3, this one is. Now, I was so tempted to actually start picking up this single kind of volumes of The Walking Dead, but I didn't. I did hold out, which I'm really, really happy about now, because they are quite expensive on their own. Now, I've got, if I can show you, because these things are beastly. So, we have The Walking Dead Compendiums 1 and Compendium 2. You can see they are pretty huge, they are so heavy, but they are such good reads, and the quality of the print is actually really, really nice as well. Yeah, it's of course, everyone knows what The Walking Dead is. It's fantastic. I'll maybe see if I can show you some of the imagery on here. Oh, The Walking Dead is so good. I watched a bit of the series and I decided to stop after a while. I fell out of habit of watching it, and I actually have gone past the series now by reading the comics, and I'm so glad I did. The TV show doesn't have the right to knock off characters left and right like the Walking Dead comic does, and it gives such a more dramatic effect in this. Some of the scenes are so disgusting, I'm not kidding. But that's the Walking Dead volume compendiums 1 and 2. I did actually pick up. Where did I just put that guy? There he is. So this is the single volume, volume 17. I picked this up not very long after I finished compendium 2, but then I stopped. And like I said, I'm very glad that I did, because now I've got compendium 3 to look forward to. Not too long now, guys. It's going to be exciting. Okay, so moving on again. We will skip briefly on, and we're still on Image Comics. There's one more left for you guys. So let's switch back to the Previews catalogue. And this is, again, it's a very inconspicuous comic down here. And this is called Spread. And this is volume, not volume, so this is issue number 11 for Spread. Okay, guys, hope you can make that out. Sorry about that. Now, Spread is actually a very interesting comic. Again, it's a comic which is more along the lines of a gory comic, and it's one that I've really, really enjoyed. And I've put it underneath the Walking Dead compendiums, which is never a good thing to do. So this is Spread, Volume 1. If you're into the more gory comic, the more, I wouldn't say realistic, but I would say deals with situations that are a little more intense, I would say, I would really recommend picking this up. I've been waiting now for Volume 2, and it deals with some pretty intense topics. There's a lot of, what would you say? There's a lot of cannibalism in this. There's a lot of gruesome deaths in this, maybe ritualistic sacrifice. Now, if you don't know anything about Spread, I'm going to actually share screen with you again in a second, so I can give you a brief description of what the comic is actually about, because it is really interesting, and I really enjoyed Volume 1 so far. So let's skip back across over here, and let's quickly skip over to Spread. So, 10 years ago, we dug too deep and unleashed something we couldn't control, something that twisted and warped every living thing in its path, something that remade the world in its own image, the Spread. Now one man has found a child who can save the world, but he has to fight monsters, raiders, cannibals, religious fanatics, and one cranky baby to do it. Now, I think this really does follow the whole life of him and this baby. It's, again, I really recommend it. So far, just from Volume 1, there's a lot of depth, not necessarily in the backstory of the characters, so this gentleman here, but more in just the world itself. They really actually bring it to light in terms of how people are surviving in these kind of little pockets of civilization that are surviving. So with that in mind, I found it really, really interesting. If you guys did, please let me know. If you would like to know any more information about it, please just ask, because honestly, it's fantastic. Make sure to hit me up in the questions section on the live stream again. More questions I can ask, the better. I've got no questions yet, guys, so please keep questions rolling in. Interactivity is always great. So that's Spread Volume 1. Again, it's up to Spread issue number 11 at the moment in previews. That pretty much finishes us off for the image preview side of things. And we're going to move swiftly on to Boom Studios, which has been actually a great publisher so far for me. I've really enjoyed some of the, well, I'd say pretty much all of the comics that I've picked up from them so far. Okay, now what we're going to do is quickly switch back to here we go. So back to previews, and this is comic here called Mimetic. Now this is a very short series of 3 comics. I'm going to move this over here so you guys can actually see it. And I'll read you the description as well. So it's all of this stuff here. So Mimetic is a truly event comic, a wholly unique take on the disaster genre, much like his work on The Woods. Writer James Tynion, with the help of fantastic newcomer Eric Donovan, House of the Wall, I don't know what House of the Wall is, brings horror to a whole new generation of fans. J-horror films like Uzumaki and The Ring, plus Mimetic was nominated for the 2015 GLAAD Award for Outstanding Comic. Now, I've never really heard of Mimetic before, but given that fact, it's only a run of 3 comics. So what is it? So it says, a meme is an idea that starts with an individual and then virally spreads to multiple persons and potentially entire societies. Richard Dawkins suggests a meme's success comes on its effectiveness to the host, but history shows that destructive memes can spread just as rapidly through society. Memetic shows the progression of a weaponized meme that leads to utter annihilation of the human race within 72 hours. The root of this apocalypse is a single image on the internet, a meme in the popular sense. A meme that changes everything, collects a complete 3-issue miniseries. Now, I have really, really enjoyed some of James Tynion's work so far, mainly The Woods. I'm a huge fan of The Woods. If you haven't read The Woods, I've got the trade paperbacks over there. Let me go and show you, because it's such a rich universe, I thought it's really worth mentioning. I'll pick up volume 1 for you guys, so that I don't necessarily ruin so much of what happens in volume 2. So many of these comics that work so well really flesh out the universe that they're in. But you know what? I was so hooked by the art style on The Woods. I'll see if I can hold this up so you guys can see it clearly. The Woods is basically about a school where teenagers are going about their daily lives, and suddenly everything shifts, and they find themselves on this random planet in the universe. They have no idea where it is. It's nowhere near Earth. And pretty much it goes from there. Loads of mystery around how they are surviving. It's pretty gruesome in the fact that these school kids get knocked off quite rapidly due to the circumstances that they find themselves in this wilderness in the middle of the forest with these wild alien creatures coming around. And then there seems to also be kind of like an alien tinge to the comic. So writing-wise, there's quite a bit of variation in there, and I hope you guys can get an idea of the art style as well, because The Woods, brilliant. Go and pick it up now. But yeah, so Memetic, it's a cool idea. So it's kind of a very modern idea. So I think he's really changing his tack in his story line here, or his stories that I've read so far. It's really interesting. I will probably be picking that up in its trade paperback form. So that comes out on, does it give me a specific date? No, it doesn't. They never do in here for Boom Studio stuff, which is really frustrating. But that will be coming out in October. I can share you the screen on their website and point you in the right direction if you would like to find out a bit more information as well. So let's just skip straight over here. Here we go. So Memetic full series bundle contains issues 1 to 3. Why we love it. So it says, after launching James Tynion's The Woods to much acclaim, we were eager to see what other ideas he had. When James, one of our favourite new voices in comics, pitched us Memetic as a tale of the apocalypse in 3 parts, we were sold. I really like the idea of very small sections of a story that really give you kind of like a slice of wanting more into that world. And I think it's great that they won't necessarily be publishing any more of that world. It really keeps you eager to come back to that writer as well, which is I think is a brilliant idea. So I will definitely be picking this up. I will be putting it on my list as well, on my whiteboard. I've got lots of things to add on my whiteboard already. Yeah, so I thought that was an excellent idea for a comic. Hope you guys would find that one valuable. So now let's move on again very swiftly. We are going to now, this is an interesting one. This is a very interesting one. I'm going to show you this on the catalogue itself. Forget Attack on Titan. There, Attack on Titan's gone. This is what we're looking for here. Now, excuse me if I pronounce this wrong. I brought this up online as well because I had a hard time actually trying to find this in itself. This is called Inuyashiki. Now it says, a superhero like none you've ever seen from the creator of Gantz. I'm going to read the blurb on here and I'll hold it up so you can kind of get a whole feel of this. And this is a manga. Oddly, this isn't in the manga section in previews, which is a bit strange. But anyway, so it says, Ichiro Inuyashiki is an old man. His ungrateful family ignores him, and strangers are disgusted by him. Then just after learning he has terminal cancer, a blinding light in the night sky strikes the earth where Ichiro stands. He wakes up to find himself unscathed, but he soon starts to notice that something's different. Maybe this is a chance to become a man worthy of respect, unless, that is, someone else out there is expecting these same changes. And they describe it as the Breaking Bad meets Terminator sci-fi action story, and it comes in extra large editions with colour pages. So always a fan of colour stuff, to be honest. Now, I've got some pictures of this online as well. It seems to be well, how can I describe it? Quite intense. I'd say I think it's definitely an adult comic, don't get me wrong. So if you've got any young kids out there that are watching the stream, maybe best to turn away now. So I've got some of the Google images here. There's quite a lot of full frontal nudity, it seems, as you can see by this image here. So yeah, I don't think it really pulls any punches. There's quite a lot of kind of graphic imagery in this here. I'm not sure whether this guy's actually shot some poor old lady in the head here, but it's pretty intense. What else do we have? A bit more imagery of possibly the power that this gentleman picks up. Again, really interesting. I really like the art style as well. There's so much detail in quite a lot of the manga that's coming out now that isn't your traditional manga in that sense, which is probably the manga that I like the most at the moment. Yeah, so that's Inuyashiki. That's something that I will definitely be picking up. It's not very clear when that one is coming out. I think I maybe have some details. Well, it came out in 2014, so again, I'm guessing that in October they'll be bringing out maybe each volume of this in itself. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And just before I actually move on, I will just show you some art style for Mimetic that I actually forgot to show you because I thought it was really interesting. So apologies if this is a bit confusing, but we're just going to skip back. You can see here are these two Stark versions of the world, one in its normal state and two after the meme is hit. I find it really funny that this online meme can hit and there's such a stark change in the environment. But yeah, I thought I'd show you some of the art style there just so that you can get a bit of a general feel for the comic. So I hope that's something that you guys may enjoy. Now, let's switch back to the next thing that I'm going to highlight, which is, drumroll please, have we got any comics left now? I think we may be into the manga territory, or maybe even... No, we're still in manga territory. So, sorry, comic territory. We are onto the Sixth Gun. So let's pop back to the previews catalogue itself, like so. Okay, so Sixth Gun is an interesting comic from Oni Press. Oni Press is a very small publisher which I have hopefully highlighted to you guys in a good light, and this is for the comic Letter 44, which I found to be absolutely fantastic. Sci-fi, if you like it, aliens, weird stuff happening in space, go and pick it up now. That's all I'm going to say. So Sixth Gun, I'm going to try and show you this picture here. I'm actually going to show you online as well, so I think there's a lot better pictures available online so you can get a better feel of the comic. Now, it's a Western style comic with a magic vibe, let's say, which is probably a bit confusing. Now, I've not been a fan of Western comics in the past. Now, it's not to say that I would probably not enjoy this, because there are some issues of it, specifically the art style, which I like the most, but let's just run through the description for you guys. So, during the darkest days of the Civil War, wicked cutthroats came into possession of 6 pistols of otherworldly power. In time, the Sixth Gun, the most dangerous of the weapons, vanished. When the gun surfaces in the hands of an innocent girl, dark forces reawaken. Vile men, thought long dead, set their sights on retrieving the gun and killing the girl. Only Drake Sinclair, a gunfighter with a shadowy past, stands in their way. Sixth Gun is a two-fisted adventure set in the mysterious and supernatural corners of the Old West. The first issue of this series is also a free giveaway for Free Comic Book Day in 2010. Great way for people to actually get involved in this. I'll show you some of the art style without going back into the previous catalogue, because it doesn't actually show you any of the art style here. And this is probably what's kept me interested. I'm going to blow this up if I can. It's not very large, but this automatically reminded me of... Now, I know the comic is actually going to miss. It's totally going to go past me now on what it's called, but it's called... No, I can't remember. Anyway, this is a Western comic that seems to have a kind of ghouly setting here. So there seems to be some kind of magic involved, and that's kind of what's got me hooked on this and actually interested. And I will most likely be picking up Volume 1. I'm not sure if Volume 1's actually out yet. Let's have a look. Yes, it is. That's the trade paperback that is showing in preview. Sorry, so my apologies. But there's lots of interesting art going on here, which I actually really like. It doesn't actually give it too much of a penciled look. Again, if you guys have seen any of the previous videos that I've done before, I actually do quite like that style. So it's something that does interest me quite a bit. So hopefully you guys would gain maybe something from that. So that's very cool. I think it's pretty nice. Now, I'll show you a few more pictures as well. because I think from what I've seen, there seems to be quite a few different variations of the magic that's happening in this realm. So we've got some ghosts, I think, here, as well as that's not the same one. Well, I guess from the looks of it, mainly it is ghosts actually. So zombies and ghosts. There's a kind of big fights and battles going on. So it's an interesting comic that I think I will definitely be picking up. So it's well acclaimed, especially with Omni Press. They've been pushing it quite hard. Again, hopefully that's something else you guys would quite like. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just actually going to hop back to you guys and see if you've got any questions on the YouTube page itself, because I can see not got any questions yet from you guys over on the live stream itself. So let's hop on over and see what you guys have to say on the video. I know I've got a few questions here. Let's have a quick look. So we've got one. No questions quite yet. I think on the actual video online, I've got a few comments, one from Glyn. So thank you ever so much, Glyn, for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying so far. So let's hop on to the next comic. We are going on to, let's just hop back over to the preview stream. I hope you guys don't mind me telling you when I hop back and forth. It's something that I do to try and fill the silence. I'm not one for blank silences. It's not something I'm a fan of. By the way, if you have any feedback for the show so far, please do let me know. I'm more than happy to take that feedback and try and improve this experience for you. So the next thing that I'm going to highlight is a comic, I believe, called Ashes. So I think this is a graphic novel now. Now, Ashes is something that caught my attention, not so much for the art style, because I have looked up the art style and it's not something that I actually seem to agree with all that much, but I'm just going to read the blurb here. So Matt always had an easygoing life. Girls liked him, his friends were more like family, and being a firefighter came naturally. Then the accident happened. Now, after the loss of his leg, Matt struggles to cope with his new handicap as he attempts to rebuild his shattered family and once budding career. A riveting tale about perseverance, hard work, and overcoming the odds. Ashes is not to be missed. So Ashes is portrayed as this really serious comic, which I haven't really read too many serious comics, to be honest. I kind of want to sit back and relax and be engulfed in a world that's not going to really stress me out all that much. But in saying that, it did interest me, I will be honest. So I thought I would just highlight this for you guys in case it's something that would tickle your fancy. So let's hop on over to the website and show you a bit more information over here. It's exactly the same blurb over on Amazon, and the price is $15.29. So this is on the American site here. Now let's hop on over to some of the pictures. Now there isn't very much floating around actually, which was surprising. Now if I'm going to see if I can blow this up a little bit, you can see the art style here. It's funny because the faces aren't actually what I would be expecting. There is one that highlights that a little bit better here. If I blow this up, this is a rather larger one. You can zoom in here. I don't know, something about the proportions of the face actually kind of put me off this comic. The idea of the comic actually really interested me, but when I've seen the art style, I don't think it would be something I'd be picking up. As you can probably tell previously, sometimes I can be a sucker for the art style and be put off it, and then actually I find out it's something I really like at a later stage. But for now, unless I hear anything else about this, this won't be something that I would be picking up. But anyway, something else interesting that I thought I would highlight for you. Now, we're kind of onto the home stretch and previews now, and we're on to a section about merchandise and items such as those things. So if we hop back over to the camera, what I'm actually going to be showing you is two things. One in the previews again, and some online pictures of some Funko Pop vinyl figures, if I get this right, which I hope I do. Yes, we have. Perfect, because these Pop vinyl figures are amazing. I've got quite a lot of different Pop vinyl figures. If you haven't already seen in the background, I have some Firefly ones. Awesome. Hello, Jane. If you guys know who Jane is, I'm sure you all do. Lots of figures that I've been collecting at the moment, and not just Pop vinyl ones. I've also been collecting some Heroes of the Storm. If you haven't already seen the unboxing videos for these, please go and check them out. So that's Nazeeba, if you didn't already know. And then we also have Jim Raynor. So these guys are from the universe of Blizzard. So check them out. Figures are always fun. So the Pop vinyl figures. Let's switch back over to the previews catalogue once again. There we go. Now, the ones that I wanted to highlight, of course, with Fallout 4 coming up, I thought this is a great time to show these off. Here you can see some absolutely awesome figures. Some of these I would be more tempted to pick up than others. But again, it says surviving a nuclear holocaust will be fun with these stylized 3 to 3¼ inch tall figures based on the acclaimed Fallout video game series. Collect Brotherhood of Steel, Deathclaw, Ghoul, Lone Wanderer, Female Lone Wanderer, and then Super Mutant and Vault Boy. I've got some better pictures online that kind of showcase them a bit better, so let's just hop on over to the website and I can show you in a bit more detail. Okay, so here we go. This is the Brotherhood of Steel figure, probably the coolest one. Come on, you guys had to work up to the game to see the Brotherhood of Steel. Fantastic, and actually engage them. That was such a good moment in the game. Okay, so that's the Brotherhood of Steel one. We also have the Lone Wanderer. Again, he looks pretty cool. Some of them I think would look pretty sweet on my desk and on my shelves. And also the Super Mutant, he would probably definitely be one that I'll be picking up. And also, where did he go? Yeah, I'd probably say those are going to be the most ones. There's Deathclaw as well. Pretty small picture there, so I won't waste your time with that one. But that's the pop vinyl figures. Again, really, really interesting. Definitely something I'll be picking up. And finally, we have one more page that I wanted to highlight, which won't be for all of you if you haven't ever watched any of the Studio Ghibli films. But again, if you haven't, where have you been your whole life? These films are fantastic. So here we go. This is the Studio Ghibli section. Now, I'm not sure if Previews is going to start to have a section always for Studio Ghibli, but anyway, I thought I would highlight this because it's fantastic. Now, you've got My Neighbor Totoro plushies. So tempted to go and pick one of these up. I've seen some of them in Forbidden Planet, so that's the chain comic book store in the UK here, one of its larger stores in Bristol where I live, and those things are so expensive, so I don't know if they've just jacked up the prices of them, but watch out if you go and have a look at them in stores, because they may be more expensive than you think. We've got the Spirited Away Bow Mouse there, 6-inch plush, and if we come across to the other side, we also have some awesome stuff from Spirited Away. I love Spirited Away. It's probably one of my most favourite Studio Ghibli films. So we have the Spirited Away No Face one here. That's the one that I'd probably be tempted to pick up. We also have a plush clip-on, Spirited Away Flybird, 3-inch plush. I never knew that's what it was called. He would be pretty cool in my car, actually. And also the Spirited Away Soot Sprites. That would be excellent in my car. I'd be sure to put him somewhere. So that's pretty much rounds off the catalogue for August and to be sold in October. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this. We haven't really had any questions today, which is a shame. Again, I always like to answer your questions. So if you do tune in next time, if, say, in between this previews and the next, you guys have found some really interesting stuff, what I would actually like to do is dedicate a section of this video and dedicate it to suggestions made by yourselves. So you can suggest something to me, I'll show it to all of you, and then everyone can help learn and find new and interesting things. Because, again, I miss some of these things, and some of them I may be a bit oblivious to and not actually want to read because it may not be my type of genre. If there's anything else you guys want, let me know and we'll always include it. I really want to get you guys involved in this video. So, without further ado, thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you coming to visit us again. I will see you guys next month for the next Previews live stream video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you found something valuable from today's live stream. Again, lots of things that I'll be picking up here and adding to my list. I'm going to be having to take out a loan to pick up all these comics and manga and merchandise. I'm not kidding. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys next time for the Previews video. Once again, thank you for joining. Bye-bye, guys.